Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be continuing on the crypto or Bitcoin mining theme and profiling a company by the name of CleanSpark Incorporated. I'm really excited about this one for a number of reasons. It was just put on my radar actually last week by one of my subscribers, and I wanted to do a deep dive into their business model and some recent news from the organization. Now before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you're currently holding shares of CleanSpark, what you think about this organization, and how you think they stack up to some of the other crypto miners we cover on the channel. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a new crypto miner to the channel. The name is CleanSpark Incorporated, and this one actually came to me in the form of a comment on my previous video covering Riot. So this one's focused in the United States, again, crypto Bitcoin mining company. And as the name implies, you guys, CleanSpark, they're focused on sourcing clean energy to actually power and fund their operations. Now, what's interesting about CleanSpark in comparison to some of the other miners we cover on the channel is when you look at their hash rate and their monthly production levels compared to some of the other players, the market cap really is disproportionately small here, you guys, and may be presenting a great buying opportunity if you're looking for crypto mining exposure, specifically in the United States, with a company that's got a lot of potential and huge capacity coming online over the next couple of quarters. Now, as you can see here, this is as of close on Friday, October 21st. They were up 1% on the day to close out at $2.92. This is a US listed, NASDAQ listed company under the ticker CLSK. And if we look at a 6-month chart, very similar to the other crypto miners we cover on the channel, you can see it's been down big time over the last 6 months in relation to the price of Bitcoin. And this is a company back in the middle of April that was trading near $8 US. So you're now able to pick up shares again for a fraction of the price you could have only a couple of months ago. And based on this current share price, you're actually looking at a market cap sub $150 million, so quite a bit smaller than Hive, Hut 8, Riot, Bitfarms, any of the others that we frequently cover on the channel. Now to kick things off, I wanted to jump into this article which covers their operational and production update for the month of September. We just talked about the market cap of CleanSpark in relation to some of the other miners, but when you look at their actual production rate and their exahash per second, you guys, they really are on par, if not ahead of some of the other miners. So they topped 4.16 exahash per second in the month of September, so stacking up very favorably to both Hut 8 Mining and Bitfarms. That was up 21% from the prior month or August of this year. They mined 448 Bitcoin, very comparable to Bitfarms, which came in at 481 for the month, and miles ahead of Hut 8 Mining, which landed at 277 for the month of September. That was up 132% year over year. And what I find interesting here, you can see they call out their hold on for dear life strategy, which grew 13% to just under 600 Bitcoin in the month of September. However, as we'll see later in this presentation, they did sell off a portion of their mined Bitcoin in the month. So to me, it's really not a true hold on for dear life strategy or approach as we've seen with Hut 8 Mining. They're really following a very similar model to Riot or Bitfarms in the sense that they're mining and selling each and every month. And that's really evident as you scroll down into the bullet points here. You can see year to date, you guys, they've mined 3,090 Bitcoin. However, they're currently only holding 594 in their reserve, meaning they've sold off a big portion of their Bitcoin throughout the year. And I think that's part of the reason for the smaller market cap. And they then specifically call out in the month of September, they converted 380 Bitcoin for operations and growth, which was down 2% from August, but still represents a huge portion of the Bitcoin that they mined in the month of September. So to summarize here, you guys, the pros for CleanSpark, they've got big hash rate, big capacity. They're generating a lot of Bitcoin each and every month. The cons, they're having to sell off a big portion of that to actually fund their operations and their growth strategy. And as a result, their reserve is very low compared to any of the other miners that we've talked about recently on the channel. Now, if we jump over to the company website, now that we have a little bit of an understanding in terms of the size and scale of the CleanSpark operation, I wanted to give you guys some additional detail on the business model and the team behind the organization. You can see they're really focused on becoming an industry leader during this time of momentous change we're seeing within the shift from traditional to sustainable Bitcoin mining operations and the energy systems that support this mining activity. And if we jump into the investor presentation, you can see their vision is to become a top 5 North American Bitcoin miner focused on 4 key pillars. So the first being hash rate or overall computational or computing power. The second being sustainability, so sourcing energy that comes primarily from renewable or carbon-free sources, which we're going to look at a little bit later in the investor presentation. The third pillar is efficiency. So really ensuring they're getting the best results from the power input and the hash rate that they're generating. And this is actually something that was brought up by a number of my viewers in our last video in relation to Riot, you guys, is when you look at the Bitcoin mined per exahash, you really do see quite a wide variety when you stack up the various different mining companies side by side. So it's great to see CleanSpark has a clear focus on efficiency. And then fourth is obviously profitability. So revenue, net income, adjusted EBITDA, metrics that the investment community need and want to see from these up and coming mining organizations. And that really leads us to this slide here, which gives a nice summary of CleanSpark as an organization. It's a sustainable Bitcoin miner that's transforming how Bitcoin is mined. Their vision is to build the infrastructure of the future by becoming a top 5 North American miner in terms of hash rate, sustainability, efficiency, and profitability, which we just looked at. They have 140 megawatts that are currently operational, so huge capacity compared to a lot of the other miners, with 702 additional megawatts under development or contracted. So pushing in excess of 840 megawatts, you guys, once fully deployed. They currently are hitting an average daily Bitcoin production of about 17 or 16.74 Bitcoin per day. Again, compared to Bitfarms, which came in at 16 for the month of September, and Hut 8, which came in at 9.2. So again, their daily production stacks up very favorably, especially when you look at the market cap of CleanSpark. And their hash rate, as we saw in the intro, is sitting at 4.16 exahash per second, which represents about 2% of the global hash rate or global Bitcoin mining capacity. And underpinning all of this is the company's focus on becoming an ESG leader in the space, or an environmental social governance focus at the company, which again is built into the company's name. Now this is where it gets really interesting for CleanSpark. If we actually look at their various different locations, again, all focused on the United States here, you guys, you can see multiple different Bitcoin mining facilities. So diversified portfolio in terms of geography and size here. So the first one is College Park. This is a 46 megawatt facility. You can see 95% of the energy is considered clean energy at this location. Norcross is set up to be a 20 megawatt facility. However, only 8 megawatts are currently operational. 100% clean energy at this site. Washington, which is their newest facility, is an 86 megawatt capacity location with 36 megawatts currently online. This one's the lowest, coming in at 70% clean energy, which compared to many other companies in this space is still exceptional, you guys. Sandersville, which we're going to talk about in a second here, was actually an acquisition. This is a 230 megawatt facility with 80 megawatts currently operational and 72% clean energy. And then there are co-locations, which are fully hosted, 550 megawatt capacity with 50 megawatts currently up and operational. And 99% of that is powered by clean energy. So across their portfolio, you can see that huge focus on sourcing renewable or carbon neutral energy. Very impressive scale with additional capacity ready to be deployed, and each of these 4 locations is 100% owned by the team at CleanSpark. Now, the reason I wanted to take a closer look at Sandersville is because this was a recent acquisition. You can see this was the second acquisition by CleanSpark this summer, and I think this is something we're going to start to see in the industry overall here, you guys, is consolidation. As we continue to see the price of Bitcoin depressed, smaller miners are really going to struggle here, or companies that don't have the capital in place to continue to operate. And I think you're going to start to see a lot of M&A activity. For example, what we've seen here with CleanSpark, as smaller operations start to close the doors and bigger players are able to pick up these facilities and the mining equipment at pennies on the dollar. And I think that's going to be a major catalyst for any of the companies that are able to weather this storm. So rather than going out and purchasing these mining units new or building these facilities from scratch, they're actually able to acquire turnkey Bitcoin mining facilities, again, for a fraction of the price. And you can see this article here talks about that acquisition or the completion of that acquisition, which took place on October 11th of this year. Now, as part of this acquisition, CleanSpark got 6,500 miners, or about 560 petahash per second, plus all the former staff that worked at the Mawson's location or facility. And in return or consideration for this location, Mawson received approximately $34.3 million, which includes roughly 1.6 million shares of CleanSpark's common stock, and the potential for an additional $2 million based on certain additional conditions being met. So this is a perfect example of that M&A activity in action, where CleanSpark acquired a great facility, a ton of mining units, and an experienced team of operators as part of this total buyout package. And again, I expect to see more of this type of activity in the industry over the next couple of quarters. Now, I wanted to end today's video with this slide here, which really does a great job of illustrating the value that the CleanSpark organization really brings to the table. You can see in terms of hash rate, Bitcoin mined, and efficiency, they're in the top 5 for each of these metrics. And in the case of Bitcoin mined and efficiency, they're actually in the top 3. So in terms of hash rate, you can see they're directly on par with Bitfarms, slightly behind Riot, and well ahead of Hut 8 mining. Bitcoin mined, they're ahead of both Hut 8 and Riot, but just slightly behind Bitfarms. And efficiency, they're second only to Hive in the industry. However, if you look at market cap here, you guys, they're actually in 9th place and represent only a fraction, about a fifth of what we've seen with Riot, half of Hut 8 mining, and about 2/3 of Bitfarms. So a shout out to Gary P for putting CleanSpark on my radar here, you guys. I definitely think this one is worth a closer look if you're looking for exposure. They've got a very impressive portfolio. They've made a number of key acquisitions over the summer to really bolster their capacity, their hash rate, and their monthly and daily Bitcoin production rate. And although their reserve is still relatively small at this point in time, based on the production they're now seeing, that's going to grow exponentially over the next few quarters. And hopefully by the time we see a recovery in the price of Bitcoin, CleanSpark has a nice little reserve or nest egg that they can sit on. Now, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you currently holding shares of CleanSpark? How do you think they stack up to Riot, Hut 8, and Bitfarms? And what are your thoughts on their strategy moving forward? If you're still watching the video at this point in time, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.